The City of Cape Town wants approval from the National Director of Public Prosecutions to roll out fully. They've done a pilot, but they want to do it as an ongoing thing. Artificial intelligence traffic cameras capable of automatically detecting motorists who are not wearing seatbelts or who are using mobile phones while driving. The technology was tested in a pilot, fines were issued and were challenged. And when they were challenged, they were overturned, I suppose, because they were going, we're in a pilot phase. But what about the people who didn't think to challenge and paid money that perhaps they were not legally mandated, obliged to pay? Cameras use advanced computer vision, machine learning to analyze high-resolution images of vehicle interiors, identify offences, and compile digital evidence packs for enforcement. Dr. Andrew Rens is a senior researcher at Research ICT. Andrew, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I know that digital law struggles to catch up with digital reality, but is there anything in our law which will give the NDPP guidance as to whether to sanction the city's rollout of AI cameras?
Well, there's two questions here. One is whether these are an AI identification of supposed or alleged illegal behavior is enough on its own. So is it evidence? And the answer to that seems pretty clear, no. There's certainly nothing in our law which would make it likely to be accepted as evidence. So the prosecution would have to go quite a long way to establish that. But there's the first question. Is it okay for the City of Cape Town or any other public body to use AI to detect alleged infringements, which can then produce other evidence for? So, for example, if the camera were to capture an image which shows somebody holding their cell phone, so it's not talking on your cell phone, but holding your phone, which is the offence in our law, in the Road Traffic Act, then but then the image, if examined by the person themselves or a judge or someone like that, exhibits that they weren't in fact doing that, that the AI was wrong, then it doesn't seem that it's unlawful for the City of Cape Town to use AI for detection. However, if there's no image for people to talk about and merely the AI say so, that's problematic from a legal perspective. I can elaborate, or
no? I'm listening very carefully because so I'm trying to understand where burden of proof is here. And there's an AI image that says this image makes it clear that you had your phone in your hand, which is an offence under the Road Traffic Act. So is that evidence? Does the court accept that as proof of guilt, or do I have to say, well, for reasons A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, I think the image doesn't reflect my reality, because unless I have dash cam footage of exactly the same moment,
the burden always lies on the state in criminal proceedings. Occasionally, there's now a need for you to speak up and produce something contrary to it, but that's not the case here. The AI, my understanding is, it's not an AI-generated image. Instead, it's what's known as image recognition technology, which takes an existing digital image and analyzes it to recognize something. So famously, in the early days of image recognition technology, it was trained to recognize a cat. And that image technology can't recognize a dog. That module can only recognize a cat. You want to recognize a dog as well, you have to train a new module. And so if the image recognition technology looks at an existing image, there must be then an existing image, which then can be examined by everyone, which has not been altered by the AI. And that would be evidence, that image where the AI simply identified something in the image, and which then triggers the prosecution, which, in the first place is a fine, which you could admit. So think about current speed cameras. We can't really test whether we're going that speed, but we can look at a photograph and say, was that our car? Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it would appear that the number plate recognition is pretty bad, and we can say, well, no, my number plate's registered to a Mazda, and what you have here is a BMW, that's clearly not me. And you can challenge on that basis. Here, there would still have to be something that wasn't AI generated as final proof. It would then be okay for the city to say, but, we didn't get a person looking through the images, we got an AI looking through them to identify who potentially infringed the law.
Yeah, so, okay, let me. I think I might be confused, but
Yes.
Let me see. Maybe I'm not. You're suggesting there's nothing specific in our law which deals with this, but because there is a digital image which is then AI analyzed, that digital image is evidence, and therefore I could be prosecuted or fined on the basis of that digital image, which was then AI analyzed.
Yes, you have it. And indeed, there's almost nothing in our law on AI at all. Only the Protection of Personal Information Act has a section on automated processing, which could apply to AI, and of course, under Section 6, investigation of unlawful activities and prosecution of unlawful activities is outside of POPIA. So the one thing in our entire law doesn't apply.
Sorry, Andrew, because I'm running out of time. Are you suggesting that because it's outside of POPIA, that element of our criminal law, we don't have a privacy argument to make against this?
Yes.
Okay. So the argument that it's good for law enforcement means it's good for the broader community is the argument that holds the most weight.
In fact, if you aren't furnished with an image to see whether, what is the basis that if you were in court could be argued about? Does the image show you with the cell phone in your hand or with your complying with the law or not?
Yeah, with the seatbelt unhooked.
Yeah, seatbelt, yes. Unhooked. If there's no image, then, and you went to court, which of course we know is a laborious process for a minor fine, so there the advantage seems to lie with the City of Cape Town, then if there's no image, then AI allegation that you'd done something isn't sufficient on its own.
Thank you very, very much to technology law consultant Dr. Andrew Rens.